Well, let's take a little quiz here, shall we? Let's see how much you know about harassment, as well as maybe some of the other risks that we have when we've got perverts and bigots on the loose. Well, if any of you were thinking that I just made this up just to shock you, oh no, you cannot make up what these perverts and bigots do in real life. So I'll tell you, this is a United States Circuit Court case, Mendoza versus Borden, or more commonly referred to as the sniffing case. And I'll tell you, you cannot make this stuff up. Absolutely. So you get yourself one good sniff out of Daniel Page, which is appalling enough, right? I mean, most of you were just shocked, okay? And what happens? 3 or 4 months later, he does it again. So I want somebody to keep track out there for me. We're up to 2 sniffs. And this is going to be important. So 2 sniffs. And another 3 or 4 months go by. He does something very similar. Okay, so we're up to 3. And another 3, 4, 5 months go by. He does something else. So we are up to 4 isolated incidences in 16 months. Well, again, like I said, you go up and you start sniffing people, you're getting sued. Probably smacked in the head too, but you're getting sued. All right. Red Mendoza sues, and this goes all the way up to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and they are very sympathetic to her. Very sympathetic. But they are forced to follow the precedent established by the United States Supreme Court. And this standard for harassment is extremely high. The actual standard for illegal harassment in the workplace is what you see in front of you. Would the reasonable person in the community be so offended that they couldn't function in their job? Not just that you're offended. You can't function in your job. And 2, 3, or 4 isolated incidences are not enough. That is a very, very high standard. The court said it's not sexual harassment. It's not bad enough. Now, I'll tell you, this is a very important definition for you to understand. Most people think that because they're offended, oh, that's illegal. Oh, I'm offended. No, that's not what the United States Supreme Court has said. And the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in the sniffing case, or Mendoza versus Borden, they are just carrying out what the United States Supreme Court had already ruled in a couple of different cases. So let's make sure you understand how high this standard is. Let's break it down. First of all, would the reasonable person in the community? Now stop right there. 20 years ago, the community was probably New York City, right? Maybe Los Angeles, St. Louis. Today, we've got Twitter. We've got Facebook. We've got cell phones. Today, the community is the country. I promise you, something happens and it's juicy, it is going to spread across the country like wildfire. And you got to make sure that you understand what the tone of the country is, because that's the standard that we live under. All right. You'll hear so many people say, well, I was offended. No, no, no. The definition is, would the reasonable person in the community be so offended that they couldn't function in their job? Now, that's a kicker right there. So, couldn't function in their job? Think of why we got employment law, why we got civil rights laws. Title VII. We got Title VII in 1964, Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Before that, I could fire you because you were black. I could not hire you because you were Jewish. I could not hire you because you were female. Think about this. Employment law, it's so obvious, it evades us. Employment law protects your employment. That's it. It protects your right to make a buck. That's it. It doesn't protect your feelings. Actually, the United States Supreme Court has come right out and said a couple of times, the law is not a civility code. You want to treat each other like dirt? Bon appetit. Go ahead, knock yourself out. The law doesn't protect that. It protects your right to make a buck. And that's it. Because if you can't make a buck, you're in big trouble. So that's what it protects. And 2 or 3 or 4 incidences, they're not enough. So I've shown you these examples. They were one single isolated incident. Actually, if you look at the sniffing case, that was 4 sniffs or 4 incidences. And the 11th Circuit came out and they said, it's not enough. I'll tell you right now, this is one of the highest standards in all of employment law. This is a tremendously high standard. So, think about this. Is the law saying that you can go out maybe once a year and sniff one of your coworkers? Well, yeah, that is exactly what the law is saying. Actually, the law is saying if you go out and get yourself a good day planner and you space out the sniffs, you're perfectly fine. That is what the law is saying. Is that what I'm saying? No. It is the exact opposite of what I am saying, because I'm saying, no, we are going to prevent lawsuits. We're not going to wait until it becomes illegal. We are going to build a culture of trust. And that means it's safe. And I will tell you right now, I can't imagine anybody disagreeing with this statement. If you've got somebody running around sniffing people's groins, it isn't safe. It isn't safe. Right? You've destroyed the trust, and that is going to create morale problems, workplace violence problems, and legal problems. Whether you win or not is not the issue. You see, this is why a good lawyer gets you out of trouble. But a good HR person is worth 10 lawyers, because a good HR person is going to prevent it. So I'll tell you, we want to make sure that we are preventing these types of things. So the law is saying, yeah, you can go up to your coworkers and sniff them 1, 2, 3 times. What am I saying? I'm saying, no, we do not set our employee relations by the law. We set our employee relations by our culture, and that is trust. That is what we are shooting for. And it never ceases to amaze me. I will do this program and I'll have some lawyer somewhere say, well, that Mendoza case, that would probably be decided differently today. You missed the point. You missed the point. The point is, why in God's name would you ever let this get to 2 sniffs, 3 sniffs? Why would you do that? The point is, we are going to act on the first sniff. We are going to get on this, and we aren't even going to have to worry about lawsuits. And I'll tell you, the United States Supreme Court has never overturned its ruling. The law is not a civility code. If you want to treat each other like dirt, bon appetit. Don't let it go too far. So let's apply this standard here. So we're sitting here doing our training, and someone comes in and reports to us, oh my gosh, you won't believe it, we got a sniffer up on 2. Okay, they never thought of it until they had this training, so now we got them everywhere. Okay, so what do? Oh, it's not illegal. So can we do anything? Oh, absolutely. You are going to deal with this situation, and we are going to deal with it now. First time out of the gate, with whatever you think is appropriate according to your culture and your organization. But I will tell you, we are going to make it very clear that this is not acceptable, and if anybody ever gets this idea, we're going to come down on them like a ton of bricks. Your employee relations is more important than the law. The most important question, again, that you can ever ask, is it safe to come to work here? That's trust. And the answer to that is yes.